Most people think that the biggest barrier to innovation is the yeah, but person, the person who finds the reasons why things don't work. And of course, this is going to kill innovation, but it's not the biggest issue. The bigger issue is the wow, this is a great idea. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but when somebody has a strongly held belief that their idea is a great idea, what ends up happening is part of the brain kicks in called confirmation bias. And basically what that means is anytime you get evidence, you're only going to see the reasons why your idea is great, even if there's evidence that shows that it's a terrible idea. The reason why we have so much failure in innovation is not because we don't have enough ideas, it's because we don't do a good enough job of testing our ideas with a process that mitigates this confirmation bias. I love this one quote from Scott Cook in Intuit. He said, "For each of our failures, we had spreadsheets that looked awesome." And I think this is a great way to describe what goes on inside of most organizations. We can justify anything, it doesn't mean we should. Industries like insurance struggle with innovation because they believe that constraints are bad. It's the regulator's fault, it's somebody else's fault. The reality is that's not the case. We want constraints. Constraints are something that the brain craves in order to develop good innovation. Now, is it the right constraints? That's a different question. But we need to become better at embracing constraints and taking risks. The great thing about the insurance industry is that most of the products that get developed, the new technologies that are implemented, we can test them out in a safe environment before we roll them out. So it's a great industry for innovation, and it's one that I'm seeing a lot of innovation starting to take place. Maybe a little slow to adopt initially, but I see a very strong adoption rate right now in this industry. So the best way for insurers to attack innovation is, first of all, recognize that the questions they ask are going to give them the solutions. It's not about having the answers, it's really about trying to figure out what is the real problem or opportunity that we're trying to embrace. And we need to make sure we don't get distracted by bright, shiny objects. There's a lot of cool technology out there, but it doesn't mean that that technology is going to be the answer to our problems. So when you get that clarity around the problem statement, and you really take the time to reframe the problem multiple times, you're going to get clarity about solutions in the way you haven't thought about before.